Spot the video game was released in 1990 for a number of platforms, the NES and the Game Boy being the most notable versions, but it was also released for several computer formats, including the Amiga and DOS. The game was developed by Virgin Mastertronic, which would later become Virgin Interactive. This would be the first of 3 games to feature the 7-Up mascot Spot. In the early 90s, Spot could be seen in a number of 7-Up commercials during their Uncola ad campaign. The ads would usually have the Spot getting into mischief by wandering off the 7-Up logo. Spot the video game is a fairly basic board game style game that was originally developed under the name Infection, which does describe the game's gameplay fairly well. The game is played on a 7x7 board, and the goal is to turn more of the board to your color than your opponent's. When playing the game, you take turns moving a piece once each turn, and you're able to move up to 2 spaces away from your circle each turn. There is strategy when you move, as moving to adjacent empty circles will clone your spot, and moving 2 spaces away will not only not clone your spot, but it will also leave your previous location open. When leaving a circle open, this opens you up for an aggressive attack from your opponent. As each time you move a spot to a circle, the adjacent circles that are a different color will change to your color. This is the main way you attack in this game. By moving your spot into circles near your opponents, you're able to flip theirs over and gain more ground. This adds a lot of risk and reward to every move in the game, and sometimes leaving a space open to take over more of their spaces is necessary yet dangerous. Aside from the game's basic mode, which is you versus the computer player, you're also able to play with 4 other people by sharing the same controller. There's also a few other modes in the game where it adds some blank spaces to the board that can't be taken over. These modes require more or less strategy depending on the layout. On some of these you can get aggressive and end the game within a few turns. Spot's gameplay is fairly basic, but it's pretty fun, especially when you're playing with friends. The game's graphics are about as minimal as you can get, but there are animations of Spot moving around the board, and according to the back of the game's box, there's 35 animations total. This still really isn't enough to say the game has decent graphics, and it's probably one of the most basic looking games on the NES. Spot barely has any music in the game, and only a small number of sound effects that play when the Spot is moving across the board. The music that's there isn't great, and the sound effects are about as unmemorable as the music. Aside from the game's graphical and audio limitations, Spot's actually a pretty fun yet simple game. It's best played with friends, but it's tolerable when played alone. The game's still pretty affordable, averaging between $5 to $10, and it's worth getting if you find it.